Hi everybody, here is video number 2, which is going over Excel tables and charts. And I'm going over the material on page 104. And so, let us commence. We're on the sales volume data. I'm sure you've already gone through the pre-lab, knowing which was the appropriate type for what kind of data. Just a refresher, pie charts, percentage of a whole, line charts are trends over time, and column charts, such as the one I'm going to make with you right now, is for comparison of different elements. So, the first thing we're going to actually do is look at a better way of dealing with large amounts of data. One way to deal with a table of data is to actually make it something called an Excel table. And an Excel table manages tables of data differently and more efficiently than it would if you just had it sitting on a worksheet in the normal sense. So what I want to do is I want you to, whoops, this is my practice part before it didn't obviously delete. Let me take care of that problem. Hang on a second. Clear formats. Now what we're going to do is we're going to take everything from A5 all the way down to E49. And we're going to select the range of data that we want to use, and we want to go to Insert. And just below the Insert tab there is a little command called Table in the Tables group. And so go ahead and click that. And it asks you where the data is, and we've already selected it. Sometimes you can just even go in and click in a cell and it will detect the data for you. And then be sure to tell it that the table has headers, because it uses those to sort things. And put in little tools that you can use to do that. Click OK, and there is our table. Now let me tell you a few things about what this can do. You can sort things without worrying that the continuous cells won't be sorted. You can see only certain things. You can check and uncheck boxes. There are a lot of things that you can do. You can just filter out particular things if you wanted to using text filters. But that's kind of the really powerful thing about Excel tables. It protects you from messing up columns of data. It always treats the whole table as one entity and does things to one column and make sure that the other columns are preserved as they should be. So the very first thing I want to do here is I want to go and look at the design. Okay, so we're on the design tab right here. Check it out. There are a lot of different options I could do here. I could change the style, which, you know, you might want to do, say, change it to orange, which is, you know, my favorite color. You can do things with adding different features here, and we're going to actually add, for the table style, a total row. Okay? So wait a second while that sticks the total row in there. That's going to go into row 50. And when it finally does show up, what you're going to see is this little area where it's got a total, and then you can actually choose how you want to aggregate the data. And I'm not going to touch this right now, because if I do, it will not respond. Oh look, it's not responding already. Have no idea why it's not responding, but we'll wait a second and see what happens. You might use this opportunity right now to do it in your own file if you haven't already. And if it doesn't ever respond, I'm going to stop this recording and cut this part out. There we go. That took forever. I apologize for that delay. Here we go. There's our totals down here. And you can take each thing, see whatever you can do there. Look at that. You can change your title. We're going to actually put sum functions in all of this, so go ahead and move along and put sum functions here. But this is a really handy way of doing a lot of summarization of data. The other thing it's good for is quickly getting a chart in, and among other things. And so what we're going to do is use our filters over here to only select things that I want to look at. In this case, we're going to do hair care and health and beauty. So what you're going to do is uncheck the select all box, check hair care, and check health and beauty, and then click OK. Beautiful. Okay. So the lab manual requests that we make a chart out of this. So what we're going to do is we're going to click here, over here in A5, and I'm going to make an obvious mistake just so I can show you something later. But I'm going to click everything over to actually E23. You, on the other hand, probably did it correctly and only did C23. But look what happens when we select it and hover over it. Here comes this little quick analysis tool. And the quick analysis tool allows you to do some various things that might be a little cumbersome. And so we're going to do that. We're going to look at the different things that it can do. There's formatting. We can actually apply conditional formatting, different kinds of things that we have going on here. I'm going to go over here and talk about different kinds of totals that we could have if you wanted to have them. We've already done a table, so this is moot. Spark lines is something we're going to actually do later on when we do pivot tables in the next video. And these lines are pretty cool. Look at what's happening as I hover over it. These are in-cell charts. We're actually going to do a column chart, so that's kind of cool. This is what you could do inside of a cell next to a row of data. Pretty cool. All right, but we're not going to do that. We're going to actually go through the charts, and we're going to go to the clustered column right here, this one, and click it. And look at that, like a miracle. There it is. There's our chart. Now, one of the things that I did badly was I chose the wrong data. So once we get it over to the right worksheet, then we're going to change the data. So what I want to do is I want to right click somewhere, and the right click menu tells you a bunch. Depending on where you right click, you can do almost anything that you can do using the toolbars up here. Okay, and I'm going to point that out in just a second. But right now I want to quickly move the chart. So I'm going to choose Move Chart right there, even though it's right here on the Design tab of the ribbon. And I'm going to tell it that I want to take it over to the 2D column, and then click OK. Take your mouse and move this to roughly over the colored cells, and we're going to commence to get this moving on formatting. First of all, let's take care of that data that we don't like. I chose too much data. Rather than do the whole thing over, which you could do, it wouldn't kill anything, but I'm going to right click on it and I'm going to choose Select Data. And on the Select Data, check it out. I can do a couple of different things. I can go up here and I can change this to a C, or I can just simply uncheck those and I'm good to go. Okay. So from a right click, you can also not only move the chart, but select data. Note too that I can change the chart type, which we're going to have to do in a minute. Okay, in another exercise I want to talk to you about. All right, so let's do a few changes on this chart. We can see that these are very different. We can do pretty much everything from not only a right click, but also these guys. Okay. I can go in and do styles. I can do the parts, the chart elements. So I'm going to do a couple of different things here using this menu. First thing I want to do is add a default chart title. So we've already got that there, so I don't really need to do a whole lot except change it. And just go ahead and type in what it says over on the right in the example. Q1 and Q2. comma 2009. And while we're in there, I'm going to select it. Notice it's a dotted line when I'm trying to edit, and then a solid line when I can do things like format. So I can actually go to the Home tab here and just go ahead and choose Century Schoolbook, or Century Gothic, sorry. And then I want to make that 12 point and bold. The next thing we want to do is add an axis title. So we want to actually add an axis title to the primary vertical axis. If I just go ahead and click this, I get both. But what I want to do is go over here and click the primary horizontal to deselect it and leave the primary vertical. Note too that when you're using this little quick elements thing, you can go to more options and see more things that you can do. So now that this is done, I'm going to go over here and simply type the new title, and that is sales volume. Notice what's happening. You can see it up in the formula bar, and it then will appear in your chart title. We're going to make that bold and Century Gothic as well. And I can even go in here and move it a little bit because it seems like it's just crowding my vertical axis here. One thing that we want to do too is maybe change the numbers, change the scale. One way of lying to people with your charts is to use non-standard scale so that the bars and the illustrations look deceptive. And you can do that by simply, for example, making the scale smaller or larger and making things look bigger than they really are. We're going to go over here, and I am going to format the axis. And look what happens when I do. I get the formatting pane over here, and here are all my options for formatting the axis. I suggest you kind of go through and look at all the different options that you have here as you expand. We may ask you to do things like put labels on your axis in a particular position. Look at this, you can make your values go in reverse order. That's another common way that people kind of do terrible things to you with a scale. But we're going to go ahead and change a value here. We're going to make the major unit 5. And then you can go in and see what that does. It kind of makes things look a little taller. Okay. Another thing that you can do is go in and change how things look. So we're going to go over to the chart area and check it out. Right here you could get fill if you wanted to. All the way down here, and you could get all these little pop-ups. The other place that you could go is, if I right click over here, just choose Format Chart Area, and it all appears here as well. So depends on your preference if you want to do it from a drop-down menu or if you want to come over here. There's very little that's different. Okay. One thing I do want to kind of mention here is problematic formatting. You don't want to do crazy things. Like, you don't want to make things look like that, because that's just disgusting. Basically what you want to do is leave it very classy, I guess you'd say. You don't want to make things difficult to read. You don't want to make things you don't want to obscure the data visualization, is what I'm saying. So as much fun as it is to make things decorative and fun, don't. Make sure that you're very circumspect about what you need to do to your chart to make it readable. We let you do something called textures, and these are down here at the bottom, which are not as offensive as most, but you can see where it gets a little crazy if you start using crazy textures. I'll never understand why they do that, but we're going to go ahead and avoid the textures at all costs. Except for maybe this one, it's a little classy. Okay. So one thing I also want to say to you is that depending on how you stretch things out, this doesn't look exactly the same, but that's okay. Be careful when you're doing font sizes on the exam and then resizing. Sometimes, not always, but sometimes it'll change things. And so you really don't want that to happen. Okay? Now let's make that bold too. Okay? So that is essentially a chart. Very simple to do. But here's what I suggest that you do. Let's go over to the review problem 1. You don't want to be caught off guard with different chart types because every chart type is different. And so when I go in here and I right click on stuff, I'm going to see different things to do. For example, if I click on this, I'm going to see different ways of looking at the chart. First thing we want to do on this review sheet is change the chart type because that is a 3D pie chart. So I'm going to go here and change chart type here, or I could go up here and do it. I'm going to try to hop back and forth between these guys. There you go. Alright, there's a 3D pie. Click OK. Now you'll notice that it doesn't look anything alike right now. You see a bare indication that this is actually a 3D down here. But there are things about a 3D that you need to change in order to make it look like the other one, and one of those is 3D rotation. Okay? In 3D rotation, you can grab it from here. But before we do, let's kind of go up here for a second. If we go up to Format, I want to look at all these possibilities. These are all different kinds of shape styles and other things that you can stick in here. You can go into a series and format it. Notice how things kind of change as we move to different areas. You can also pick the different areas that you want to work with through this drop-down list. Okay? But these are particular things. We may not always ask you to do things with them, so don't worry about that too much. One thing that we will ask you to do probably is change the style. So we're going to go to designing, and the one that we want here, I believe, is style 7. And you can still see this is still not exactly what we want here. Alright. So you can do a number of different things with a quick layout too. Notice how it switches around where the legend is, but we can also go in and make this a little bit different ourselves. Okay. This is huge. Another thing that we want to do is explode the chart a little bit, so we can look at different things. You can actually physically pull. I'm not going to go through this whole exercise. I want you to do that, but you can pull things out to make them explode. So you can do that. You can also change the rotation, which is what I was talking about before. And the rotation pane, this other options pane comes up. And you can change it to look a little bit different. There we go. I'm going to show you the comparison here. We've got particular things listed in here for the review. We're going to make the what is it? Outside. Oh, there we go. 50 degrees and 30 degrees. So Y stays 30 degrees, and we make this 50 degrees. We're going to add callouts as data labels, which is specified in your exercise. I want you to find out how to do that. But these are the kinds of things you need to be familiar with. Just practice, and you should be fine on the exam. I'll let you know, I'll kind of give you hints as to what kind of things you'll have to do on the exam when I see you on Tuesday. And that being said, I'm going to go ahead and end this video. Thank you.